Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command, World War II World at War, with our first ever PvP against SirTravis. He's gotten the turn back to us. It's been a couple weeks in real life once more since our last turn's gone through, and we had a bit of a naval encounter over here in the Coral Sea, where we destroyed some of his ships. Oh man. Okay, so he ran up to me with his light cruiser, causing battle between my light cruiser and his. He has the idea that this is a rather sizable fleet now. Though, he shouldn't have seen any of the carriers that didn't attack. I think he was using this kind of as a scout. He's probably very uncertain about that. His navy might be on the way, I'm not sure. It's a very risky operation. He just moved off of Kubyshev. Whoa! Oh my god! Well, that's huge. We'll have to talk about that. He moved Portugal 15% towards the Allies and Saudi Arabia 16% towards the Allies. That's not a very good turn for us in terms of diplomacy. And those maritime bombers in Iceland still suffering attrition. I'm surprised they're even alive. I feel like they've been suffering attrition forever, but if he's repairing it, you know, guess that's good for me. Oh, what? Huh, okay, this is very useful information we're gathering. Okay, so he has ships up here still. Oh man, okay, that's a lot of information that has been blasted in front of my face right now. Significant numbers of Don Cossacks deserted to our lines, representatives making contact, asking to take service with us in our struggle against the Bolsheviks. 50 MPPs, we could make use of these Cossacks to form a half-strength cavalry corps at Rostov. Now, I remember doing this in the PvE, and I remember seeing that it was not worth it, because 50 MPPs for half-strength cavalry, or 75, I think, base for full-strength cavalry. This is a ripoff, because it doesn't scale with anything. So I'm gonna say no to that. Yeah. A cheap way of increasing your armed forces, but it's not cheaper than just building it myself. So I don't understand this one, because I tested this already, and it was not cheaper. It was a ripoff. It's just like, you get it at the front line immediately. So, yeah, no. I'm gonna say no to this. I remember this being not worth it. And the Yugoslavian HQ has been formed. We're gonna put that over in Zagreb. Well, I guess next to it. It's headed down to probably Naples. Okay, guys. Canadian tanks are on their way. This is not a long-range transport. This is a troop transport. Canadian tanks are on their way to the east. Okay. I could try to go in silent mode and see if I can intercept him somehow, but I don't think he'd be that stupid. He knows where these subs are because they're raiding, so yeah. I don't think he'd really fall for that. They're probably just going to the UK as a defensive fixture if they're in a troop transport. Since we haven't spotted any amphibious transports, or maybe he has an amphibious landing planned that he plans on then landing reinforcements with, or maybe they might even be going to Egypt. I don't know. That'd be a smart place to put them. Let's upgrade advanced subs here, just do some very important things before I forget again, because I forgot to do a lot of things over here. I'd love to get these medium bombers back up to 10. I forgot to do that as well. We have a lot of MPPs. Now, we can get some anti-air and better rocket weapons. Oh my god, it changes shape. Look at that, it really changes. The range goes up, the resource damage goes up. Yep. So we're gonna get both these upgrades, 30 MPPs for anti-air and rocket weapons. Seeing them change models like that is interesting. I'm so used to seeing the other one. So I moved these two subs down from up here, took the one in the middle, put it on Canada, UK. We have the one that was right here, moved up this way. I don't think it's going to raid since I force moved it to get it up further. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. But that's fine. I guess he just wouldn't know where it is then. Showed this one upgrading. I still need to upgrade this one, I suppose. Advanced subs level 2, ideally. I don't know if he has ships out here out of my reach. It's hard to scout for that kind of thing. Forgot to reinforce that fighter last turn, too. So let's just get that fighter back up to snuff. I might just go for elite reinforcements on this medium bomber as well. It's 37 MPPs, that's expensive. But you know what? The subs aren't needing to really go home at the moment. Let's just give that. We can get anti-air on the coastal guns. That's pretty useful for the coastal guns. If I was him at some point, I'd try bombarding those coastal guns. The anti-air on the capital, Paris, is upgraded. The anti-air defense on the actual location can be upgraded to 2 as well. He usually goes for the actual hex when he bombards, so he doesn't bombard anything of value with his strat bombers, so that just kind of works for now. Now, looking at some of this intel, I'm surprised to see MacArthur's up here. MacArthur, if I remember correctly, spawns around here. MacArthur is not ready to defend Canberra, and I don't know if he's moved. Maybe he operated MacArthur up to Normanton and then moved him over here? Maybe he used a transport at some point when I wasn't down here. I'm really not sure. But MacArthur is up north. He might expect me to try some sort of northern landing to take Darwin and fight my way through. That is certainly the easiest way to get into Australia. I can't see why else he would have put this here. He might have assumed that I would have gone for the easy route and sent MacArthur up here. I don't think MacArthur's been up here long enough to move normally. So there's some aspect of operation that went in here, either to Normanton or Alice Springs, or just transporting around to Darwin and moving to Daly, I don't know how to say that, Waters. So that means he probably has more units up here, meaning Darwin probably isn't as easy to take as it would normally be. But that's fine, because I had already determined to myself that fighting through an entire continent, even if it's not, it doesn't look as much like a continent in this game, was not something I wanted to do, hence over here. But we do have a little more intel. Now, we can't see what's on Sydney, but you know, there's definitely something on Sydney, right? Like 100% there's something on Sydney. He has a core next to Sydney. I'd wager he probably has like his stiffest amount of opposition probably right at Sydney. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Meaning we might want to opt for a Brisbane landing after all, and then fight south through there. This would give him time to get MacArthur back and time to react. But it's definitely something to consider with all this intelligence. A Sydney landing might be difficult. We'll get better eyes on once I get carriers in the area. Because, well, how far can a carrier see on land? Naval spotting's up to 6, land unfortunately only 2. So we'd have to get real close to actually see just the edge here of what there is around Sydney and Brisbane. We'll check Brisbane as we pass by it, I suppose. There's some good landing opportunities potentially here and here, and since we're using special forces, that means we could possibly overwhelm around Brisbane and simply fight our way south from there. This would stop him from operating back down through Normanton unless he brings a stiffer force. He'd have to go through Alice Springs or try to transport around like the left side or something to get MacArthur back. And this would be at least 2 turns, I think a 3rd turn to actually operate down towards Canberra. It's gonna be a stiff fight. And now he knows we're here. He did not fall for the sub trap because he probably didn't imagine we had too much. Maybe he just decided to sacrifice this light cruiser in general to see what we had lying around. Had a little bit of a scuffle with the Abakuma light cruiser, trading some blows on either side. This is going to be a lot of money to replace all this. I'll probably end up killing this with a, not this because it's not upgraded, but with like a battleship, it would probably be pretty easy. I think I want to spend this episode on a lot of the maybe less important things. So for example, the Peking Defender Corps, which needs a new name. That core's got to get moving somewhere else, as does the first corps. So could probably use a new name. I know I was trying to pick where these would go, and I was thinking prioritizing these national morale objectives probably before anything else. The locations that are like one little tiny Hex, those are the easiest to defend though. But let's take the first core and speed that over to the Gilbert Islands here. I know we need someone for truck as well. I want to defend as far forward as possible because I think that's where he'll start, if anything. If he thinks I'm going to start at Darwin, then he's going to start somewhere linear as well, right? Peking Defender Corps, I'm thinking just sending right down here. We got Tarawa guarded now by the first corps. I could like rename this to Tarawa. Just so it's like, yeah, that's permanently positioned there. He could assault this more easily, but it's national morale objective. Pretty important. It's interesting. It has the same national morale value as like all these others, but when it says national morale objective, it has a bigger hit that I guess just is not shown in the actual value of the location. There's also this. Now this one concerns me too, Kwajalein, because it connects with Roy Namur. And so if he goes up to Roy Namur, I don't know how to say this, then he could land, take that, and fight for Kwajalein through there, and it wouldn't be too great. That would be harder to defend. We would need like 2 cores for that. So let's go for the easier to defend things on the front that are national morale objectives. Let's go for Eniwetok. Land there with the Peking Defender Corps. You're getting renamed Peking Defender to Eniwetok. The Eniwetok Corps. There you go. That is more important for my morale as Japan, which is good. We can get nice bonuses if we keep that high, and of course we don't want his to be raised. We know these are now available to Landon as well due to taking Malaya, because he used Malayan troops to defend these and then didn't use them to defend Malaya. So those are just open and ready. But I don't... Like, I'd have to move things out of my way. Like this right here. I have to move out of my way to go land something here to actually take that. And maybe 1 special forces would be enough. Maybe. Perhaps. I don't know. But I'd have to divert one that would ideally be heading down here towards this imminent invasion, by the way. Oh, and we just unlocked 3 more amphibious transports because we got that amphibious tech up. Amphibious warfare up, yeah. Oh, that's really useful. I forgot how much of this Japan gets. That's really useful. I wish we had that before I started planning this invasion. But it still shouldn't be the worst. We should be able to make a landing with what's available. And if we can secure a port, then future things all wouldn't need this, right? It's just the more long-range amphibious, the better. Whether Peru can actually be taken by event like he mentioned or not, he seems to have given up on it, which is good. Because that's another guaranteed 15 MPPs per turn that we're just going to keep now. And thus my investment into the defense of all this seems to work out. Although they're never going to really get any way to get this core up any further. Just by having this core here should dissuade him. Now, I also didn't go over this, I guess, verbally. I just messaged him about it. He did get pretty lucky with that diplomacy. Portugal's up to 73% after a crit success that he got on Portugal. And Saudi Arabia is up to 46%. Now, Saudi Arabia, I think, is no big deal. They can't do a lot. And even though he's paying all of this money to get them into the war. Oh, one of my keys just broke off my keyboard. What the hell? I need a new keyboard. And, oh gosh. He's paying all this money to get them into the war. This is taking hundreds of MPPs. If it doesn't take 1,000 by the end of it, I don't really know. It's going to be somewhere between like a couple hundred to 1,000 for him to successfully get them into the war. By the time he does, I will have advanced down here and taking them will be really easy. And it will also open up Oman here to being taken as well. Maybe, not that that's necessarily even worth it, but something to consider. So that's no concern. It's hundreds to 1,000 of MPPs that will not work out for him because I'm going to catch this from him long before it could pay off, theoretically. Portugal's different because I can't really get Portugal without going through Spain. I did not get Spain to join me. It's hard to get Spain to join you. Diplomacy with them is very limited. And I don't want to invade through them. I'm trying to have as weak of a Western front as possible. Also, if Spain is neutral, then he can't really take the ports Spain gave to me away from me. So this could be a problem when this joins. But they're pretty much tied, literally tied with Argentina at 73%, but I don't think he's working on that. I don't think he will work on that either. But Brazil is technically in. This is technically a hostile border right here. Ecuador's neutral, but I think joins the Allies eventually. Peru will be surrounded one day. But the only convenient way in is by sea or through Bolivia or Chile. And I don't know that those ones will ever join him. Let's glance at Italy because they're pretty quick to take care of. I want to go investigate the agency. All right, still nothing up there. We're still good there. Italy has exactly the amount of MPPs required to, say, get infantry warfare research going, which would be great. 10% more morale to all of our infantry units, which is basically our entire military, would be very handy. I'd love to get other things too, like production tech, so I can make units with them easier, but I'm kind of just having this be the Italian military at the moment. I gotta prioritize things that are more important. There are things I'd like to buy, but production tech, they're not really gonna be buying a lot of things. It could be used for reinforcement as well, so that much is useful. So I have to decide, lower production costs, including reinforcements. I think this goes for Navy ships as well, so I guess it is pretty important. Over the long term, either get started on that right now or go for infantry warfare first. It's one of those, but we're gonna be doing a lot more research right now since Italy's kind of stuck, but they've accomplished enough that I think they can generally hold unless a massive American force lands nearby. But there's not a lot I can do to prepare them for that. The best they can do is just fight for Africa and hold it to the best of their ability. We can also move this HQ 3 spots this way. This is not enough supply to move very far, but it can move this far. This can move all the way up here. We're gonna have to push up along this border. I don't think there's any diplomacy debuff by stacking units along a border. I don't think there is. I don't know how supply is going to spread over here either. 5 to 8, 7, 6, 6, maybe 5 at worst. So I could say just move the Expeditionary Corps over here. Kind of with the idea of just blobbing up right here, getting ready to defend if he goes through Tunisia, but also to spill across the border if need be. I'll wait till the HQ's over here to really set that up correctly. We're going to force march the Ariat tanks over here, which made this guy turn around for some reason. No idea why that's the case. It is a really tough call to decide what I should upgrade first. Logistics would be great as well, because I still have garrisons I want to move across. If I ever buy any more units over the course of literally the rest of the war, that would be important. But if he goes on an offensive soon, this infantry warfare would be very useful. Because of that, and because I plan on focusing research in the short term for Italy, I think I'll go with that infantry warfare. It has way more short-term benefits, short to mid-term benefits, whereas production tech is more mid to long-term benefits, as is logistics, honestly. So that's all of their MPPs spent in one turn, one movement, one action. Infantry warfare, it's a one-time research. Command and control is still going. That's also very important to get. Eventually, we do want naval weaponry. That would be really useful. Anti-air defense could also be really useful, given where we are and what we might have to deal with. We have a giant aircraft carrier lake next to us, so yeah, anti-air would be really useful. And we don't really have the ability to afford tons of fighters everywhere. I've already gone out of my way to get these maritime bombers as is. So I want to take care of this. We need to act kind of fast here, right? To get this all moving along. Let's get a battleship moving. It says we're going to take 1 damage. That kind of sucks, but that's how naval warfare this game works. There's a lot of trade-offs. I'll take that on the unit that doesn't have elite reinforcements anyway, the Fuso battleship, and it'll just completely finish off that light cruiser. 500 national morale points, and we didn't take any damage. 500 national morale points is nothing to sneeze at. Sure, the UK might have 100,000 total national morale as the starter cap, right? They have 75.8k right now, but I also get that for Japan by doing this, by taking that, which has already moved up my percentage of national morale a decent little bit. And the lower we get this, the more debuffed the UK becomes. China's already fully debuffed. The Soviets are probably about fully debuffed. UK, I think, is not quite there yet. I don't want to look it up in the manual. Maybe I should. I don't know. It's somewhere around 60 to 70% is the final debuff for that. Now, this we have to be maybe a little careful about. We can't just force move through anymore. I think we're out of that option. Now, I think we need to start with the Zuiho Escort Carrier, because it's going to stay on fighters no matter what, unless I see, like, I don't know, something else. I think we want to get as close to the port as possible without legitimately stepping any carriers, like, too close, right? That's what I think. So somewhere around one of these, probably, I don't want to, like, touch land, though I don't think either of these count as land. Still, we need to get some sight in this region. And the escort carrier's movement is a little nerfed compared to some other things, so that's even better. Alright, thankfully we got down there, no problem. And there's no naval assets belonging to him in the region. Okay, this is good. Now, I guess maybe I wish I didn't move it like this far to the left, because this definitely borders land. I was only thinking about like these. Moving anything to the left of this would intersect with land. I don't want to have Navy intersecting with land. That's not good. Land units can hit Navy units pretty well. Well, I don't think they can hit them if the Navy unit's not in a port. Duh, I don't know about that. I don't really know if that's true or not, but yeah, something like that. So, alright, the furthest guy, I think I'm just going to keep everybody together, as dangerous as this might be. The furthest guy back should move forward with the rest of the bunch. Maybe just like as far as you could possibly get, I don't know. Because we can get pretty far, honestly. And we know there's nothing in this port. There's nothing in the port of Brisbane, so if I just... Well, no, I can't surround it and have it be safe for a carrier pressed up against it. Doesn't work like that. Not unless I take Brisbane this turn. He's probably sitting something on Brisbane right now, though. The terrible thing is there's really no way to know without getting a carrier at least this close. There's really no way to know. But you're set to fighters... And so I guess I would want to send you either here or here, I suppose. I'm taking like way too much time to plan this out, but I'm not going to move forward as much as I possibly can. We're going to maybe form up around here because we have to consider all the other ships and incoming transports. There's really no way to land this turn while also using our transport attacks. So he's going to have to be like somewhat aware that we're coming. Coastal hexes can also spot one out as well as another thing. So he might see this escort. At the very least, me destroying all his shit. He knows I'm in the area. There's really no disguising this. Really, maybe I shouldn't have moved this as far over here as I did. That was maybe a mistake. That was maybe a mistake. I could maybe swap it out with a submarine, but like, he's still gonna see the submarine. So I don't even know if there's a point to that. Regardless, let's try it. Let's see if we can salvage this. We need to move this one like away. So away and back is probably the best thing. So like this, and then like that as a forward facing shield a little bit. So it's no longer within 1 to a coastal hex. So it can't see. He'll still see it move down there. He just won't know exactly where it is or what it did. He doesn't seem the most observant during those turn replays anyway. He'll still know I'm down here. He just won't see anything beyond that. So, alright, that's good. That's good enough, I suppose. He could just move something around here still, but I'm not super concerned about that. I could also just kind of pre-place something up there as a bit of a trap. Not close enough to the shore, though. So, you know what? because here's the thing. I just don't know if this counts as land or sea. You need a land hex to actually be able to see one hex out. Yeah? Yeah, you need a land hex. I think. France. Oh, this is occupied. Something that's not occupied, ideally. The dock can spot, but yeah, see, it only goes 1, but this is Baltic Sea. This doesn't count as me. This does. I have a unit here, which is why I can see. It's hard to get a good enough example of this, really. This is land. I think it needs some kind of land. It sure seems like it. I mean, this is land and I'm occupying it, but I can't see shit out there. Maybe it's only coastal areas? Because yeah, anything like this, I just can't see out to. So maybe it's just coastal areas or areas that you're next to in general. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. This is what I'm next to. This would add up. Area that I'm next to, yep. And then like over here, coastal area, but not area. Okay, yeah. So I don't think he would even see over here anyway, because it's not a coastal area. But this just makes sure. And also, if this is correct, then he has no idea that we're exactly over here anyway. We have a good sub front as well, and we can just kind of form up around here because we can then use this, oh gosh, as the staging point to the future invasion that we have going on here. Now, this is a New Guinea area, so I think he does see my movements. He could see a transport moving towards there and figure it out if I try to rush down there. But I could get everybody down there, like, pretty quick. I think the best goal here is going to be to get as many of the transports centered around, like, right here as possible. Assuming, you know, we could land, like, literally next turn. I might deviate this special forces away because it could get away with that. No pun intended. Maybe a little pun. I don't know. Perhaps, because I think these are undefended. So I might not send that one, but like all these other ones, for example. This one can't make it all the way, so it wouldn't go all the way. It might just be like 2 special forces and then the HQ in the region. I mean, that's good enough for starting a front. And then anything at this distance can just kind of forcefully go down there as well. So what that means is... I might go a state. I kind of want to get them at least as far forward as these ones can go. Maybe like right here at the furthest. Just because we want to be able to potentially reach Sydney. We want to get as in range as possible. So let's say the Curry Special Forces go right there. And then my Zuru goes right here. Oh, this is going to take a moment. We'll definitely put this special forces out to sea, something we couldn't do before, but that we can do now. We need to keep a unit here to hinder supply to Australia. And so this medium bomber is probably a good one, because we can't really afford to do a whole lot else with it right now anyway. Cores would have to get moving otherwise. There's more that I want to put out to sea as well. I'll just force right through this way, Bismarck Archipelago, get these 3 here all bunched up. Starting to form something maybe kind of decent here. This sub is taking a front line, it would seem. I think I will put... I don't think he can actually see right here, so I could fit some things over there, some screens. At the very least, some screens could fit there. Maybe like an injured Abukuma could fit in the back right here. And then the Java, mayhaps, could go in front of that. Because I don't think he'd come up through there anyway, so I don't think I really need to worry about that. And then we just need to stack up some more carriers over here. Ideally the best ones farther forward. And just make this as circular as is humanly possible, so... The Kaga can go right there. The Zuikaku can go right here. And oh, look at that. I can actually still swap these to bomber mode. We've just discovered a heavy cruiser. Well, as long as I stop that heavy cruiser from running into me, we're good. Something I notice about this heavy cruiser too is this is an American heavy cruiser. I'm really uncertain if I actually maybe want to bomb this or not. It would give away where I am if I do. So assuming he has no planes that can see out into the ocean very easily, he shouldn't actually have any confidence that I'm right here. So, tell you what, we're basically out of time for this episode. I'm gonna think this over some more. This area is really rough on my brain. And then when I sit down for the next episode, we'll figure out if this is worth bombing. For now, though, I'm going to end this one here. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope to see you on that next one.